Welcome everybody. Coming up next, it's the Racing Podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Racing Podcast. This is show number 710. A day late, but a penny foolish. We were supposed to be on yesterday, but we're on today. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll get to business as usual. Business as unusual this week. We're going to go over driver standings and all that good stuff. Of course, the big talk is this crash on Sunday. We're going to talk about that. Race note segments. We're going to skip race notes this week. We'll bring that back next week. So we'll get started with the results, and then we'll go right into the meat and potatoes. Driver standings, of course, the racing schedule, and we're just going to chit-chat and BS today, and then be back next week, business as usual. So let's go over the schedule here. So last weekend you had Xfinity on Saturday, and then you had that late night racing on Sunday that went into Monday morning. But Saturday was the Subway Firecracker 250 winner Austin Dillon in a 33 Chevy. He led 9 laps, dropped 1 point. Second place Elliott Sadler in the number 1 Ford. He gained 1 point, and then third place was Chase Elliott in the number 9 Chevy, and he gained 1 point as well. And then, of course, on Sunday was the Coke Zero 400 powered by Coca-Cola. Winner Dale Earnhardt Jr., 88 Chevy, led 96 laps, gained 3 points. Second place, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 Chevy, led 35 laps, gained 1 point. And then third place was Denny Hamlin in the 11 Toyota, and he led 10 laps and gained 1 point as well. Now, according to the estimated calculations, if we include this weekend coming up, there are 19 weeks of Sprint Cup racing in the 2015 circuit, and we'll touch base on that later on in the broadcast. So, the big news, okay, and we might be a little abbreviated today because we don't have race notes this week, so I do apologize for that. I'll be honest with you, the only part of the race I saw was the last couple of laps and the crash, because I didn't think they were going to race on Sunday, and had everything set up. There's a whole process in getting ready for the Racing Podcast, and it all starts on Sunday. I got my legal notepads. I got my tablet ready with the NASCAR app fired up, ready to go. Of course, the TV, and a lot of note-taking. And now, the NASCAR app actually gives you lap-by-lap details of what's happening, and nothing was coming up. And usually, if you're familiar with the NASCAR app, you start getting information at pre-race ceremonies. So they'll tell you color presentation, presentation of colors, who's singing the national anthem, invocation, all of that. And you get little bits of information as well if anyone gets rent to the rear for the race start and all that. But I was getting no information. And then I turned the TV on, and as soon as I saw that the track was shiny, I had a feeling there was going to be a rain delay. I'm surprised they got the race in. I thought they were going to push it till Monday, I'll be honest with you. Now, NBCSN, they re-aired the race on Monday afternoon. But, again, now, this crash, oh my goodness, racing is fun. But when you saw this crash, and then realized that, there's someone in the car, reality sets in pretty quick, okay? And, boy, basically what happened was, okay, now, the race was pretty much over. It was the last lap. Everybody was crossing the finish line. A couple cars went over already. Dale Earnhardt, of course, won the race. Dale Jr. And then you had a cluster of cars right behind. There was a couple, one or two, three. There was a little line of cars that was crossing over, and behind those cars was the cluster, as I like to call it. And the 11 car, what happened was the 11 car, Denny Hamlin got loose, went into the number 3 car, and then in turn the 3 car airborne. And I'm sure everybody saw it, but that car went airborne into the catch fence. Actually went airborne and flew over 3 other lanes of traffic and then hit the catch fence. And that explosion, which left a 60-foot hole, okay, that 60-foot hole in that fence, and then to bounce off and land in the infield area, upside down, with whatever's left of that car. Someone was in there. If you could just imagine being inside, okay, it's crazy. And they had the in-car camera, but to actually be in there yourself, that's got to be kind of scary. And then after all of that, the car gets clipped by the number 2 car, okay, and my goodness, and again, reality sinks in pretty quick. But you know, everybody ran over to the car, found out he was okay. They gave the thumbs up. That's the signal, letting everybody know that he's all right. And then the crowd goes crazy, and then he gets out of the car unscathed. Like that's the crazy part. And I don't want to make light of the issue, but you know, at the time when it was going down, really, reality sinks in quick. But when you see him get out, he got out. Now, to touch base on the safety of these cars, if an accident like that, okay, happened in a Civic or Corolla or any car, the odds of survival, my goodness, okay, is crazy. Okay, I mean, I don't think a normal car anyone would survive a crash like that. I really don't. I don't think so. And I don't want to be doom and gloom, but to see this happen, and these cars that push 200 miles an hour, okay, so I don't think they were doing 200. I think they were doing like 150. They were saying on TV there, they were saying 150 because it was a cluster of like good 10, 15, 20, and a bunch of other cars got collected in the mix too, you know. And you had it was intense racing because you had the green light checkered, so everybody's gunning it to get in there, get into the finish line. And you know, and plus the track was a little wet. You know, they dried the track off, but I'm sure the track is still a little wet. And of course, the cars act different when at the nighttime racing as they do in daytime racing, because the tires, the grip on the roadway is different between daytime and nighttime racing. Now, I kind of thought, now, I do like night racing, I do. My one issue was, before the race even started, was the start time, only because it was on a Sunday. And okay, it's tradition that on July 4th weekend, they do the nighttime race at Daytona. I thought that race should have been done on Saturday, but Saturday was the Firecracker 250, which is done on the 4th, and you have your trucks on Friday. So it could have been to switch it up a little bit, to do the trucks on Thursday, Xfinity on Friday, and then the Sunday race on Saturday, which would have been better. Because I don't think a lot of people stayed up to 2 o'clock in the morning to see that race. It was like almost 3 o'clock in the morning. They said it was like 2:40 a.m. Monday morning when that race was over. And I never miss a race, unless, like, ever. And, you know, and I waited. About 9 o'clock or so, they still weren't racing, you know. And I started watching The Simpsons. And then I said, all right, I'm going to pack it in. The next morning, I find out that they did race, and in the afternoon on Monday is when I found out about the wreck. And I saw the video on YouTube, and then on Monday afternoon they aired the race on NBCSN, and I caught the last couple of laps, and my goodness, that was a crazy crash. So again, and racing in general is dangerous. I'd be more scared though in a Formula 1 car flipping over, because Formula 1 car, you have no roof, your head's sticking out that thing, and Formula 1 cars push like 220, okay, So, to put it into perspective, but racing in general has that danger that you could get seriously hurt. Now, not doom and gloom, because racing is fun. It's fun to watch, and it's exciting. And I love it, and you watch every race every Sunday, and sometimes you forget that something crazy like this can happen, and then one day it does, and then you said, there is an element of danger in racing, especially in car racing. You're in an automobile, gas, fuel, and sparks, a couple thousand pounds of sheet metal, pushing it at 190, 200 miles an hour, can lead to some bad news. But NASCAR has enhanced a lot of safety features over the years. So Steve O'Donnell, spoke about the incident on Sunday. Steve O'Donnell, NASCAR's Executive Vice President and Chief Executive Racing Development Officer, appeared on the Morning Drive, which is a radio show on NASCAR radio over on Sirius XM. And there was an article up on NASCAR.com on Tuesday, and it might still be up there. Top News, if you go to NASCAR.com, click on Top News, it might be up there. But as of Tuesday, the number 3 car and parts were at the NASCAR Research Development Center located in Concord, North Carolina. Now, that's where they bring cars if there's if they inspect cars, if they suspect that there's some unethical activities going on. So, and if NASCAR driver, they bring your car to the Research Development Center, that means they're suspecting you of something. But it's research development, they go and probably going to analyze, what went down on Sunday. So they have this device known as the Incident Data Recorder, and which records, and O'Donnell says that, quote, the Incident Data Recorder that we have will give us 10,000 samples per second of that incident. 10,000 samples per second, and they said that incident lasted 20 seconds. That whole wreck, 20 seconds. Now, of course, if you were in that car, that's a pretty long 20 seconds, right? O'Donnell continues by saying that, quote, they're going to, quote, are going to be poring over that data, looking at what improvements we can make from the car. He continues by saying 2 things you never want to see. You did it get up in the air, and how did it get in the air, how to get into the air, and how it got into the fence. And both of those we need to work on, and we are doing that. O'Donnell also expressed concern about, in regard to the fans. 13 fans got injured in that race. Now, to give testimony to that fence, that whole car could have gone through, but it didn't. A couple pieces went through, but the whole bulk of the car stayed inside the track surface. And that was a new wall, because Daytona just went over a couple $1 million renovation, prior. New wall, new fence. And, that car did stay inside the racing area. I mean, my goodness, the engine came out of that car. You see the engine sitting on the grass? The engine came out of that car. My goodness. So 13 race fans, they were seen at the track after the incident. 8 fans have declined treatment. 4 were treated at the track, and 1 spectator was taken to the hospital. This particular individual was treated and released. Info from NASCAR.com. So, now O'Donnell continues by saying, quote, the second piece is what can we do from a technology standpoint to keep any debris from going into the grandstand. He continues by saying, we know this is inherently dangerous sport, but the fans go there to be entertained. According to O'Donnell, no one's getting penalized. Now, no one's getting penalized for running into the track after the incident, because the crew went out there, and crew members ran over to the wreck and see if Austin Dillon was alright, and that's when, they gave the okay, the signal, the thumbs up,